According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, approximately 5,000 young people under the age of 21 die as a result of underage drinking each year. Meredith, for example, is a 17-year-old high school student with her whole life ahead of her. She is president of student council and is team captain on the tennis team. After winning the state championship title for tennis, her team decides to throw a party to celebrate. The whole high school is at this party, making it more wilder and crazier than anyone could even imagine. Meredith was having a good time visiting with their friends until one of them offers her a drink. She says no at first, but is easily persuaded into taking it. Little did she know, that moment changed her life for the worse. Teenagers often engage in risky behaviors as parts of the brain responsible for impulse control and the decision-making skills are not fully developed yet. Teens should not begin to drink alcohol. The effects of peer pressure, the inevitable health risks, and the jeopardization of their future all play a major role in this teenager's life as they cross paths with alcohol. Meredith knew in the back of her head that she should not have taken that drink, but she wanted to fit in with the rest of the crowd and not seem lame to her friends. Peer pressure involves encouragement from others who are a similar age to participate in certain behaviors or activities. In Meredith's case, she was experiencing an indirect form of peer pressure. She thought that since all the baseball players and softball players were drinking, that it would be fine. If the perception is that everyone else is drinking, then teens are more likely to also drink alcohol. Teens like her are going through a stressful time in their lives, so all of this peer pressure can lead them into making bad decisions, as said by a credible source of quit alcohol. Not only are close peers influencing Meredith to drink, but it is also social media. Earlier that week, she saw a picture of a group of girls from another school on Instagram drinking. According to the American Addiction Centers, roughly 3/4 of teens between the ages of 12 and 17 who saw their peers partying on social media were more than likely to do the same. The images show people having a good time with alcohol. This type of digital peer pressure can expand a teen's peer cycle and make people feel like they are missing out, even though they're not partaking in the fun. Ever since Meredith took a sip of that first drink, she hasn't been able to stop. The feeling of being drunk all the time has brought her to experience severe health problems. 3 years after that party, Meredith has become completely addicted to alcohol. She doesn't leave her home without a full flask of vodka on hand. Due to the constant amounts of alcohol in her body, her liver has begun to fail. It has tried so many times to repair itself that it leaves scars upon scars upon scars. She has been diagnosed with cirrhosis and needs a transplant. Without it, she will stare straight into the face of death. She was put on the transplant list but continued her excessive drinking. The chronic pain she was experiencing made it more difficult for her to do anything. She was losing friends, family, and the ability to live her own life. Even though she barely put out a surgery, she would not stop drinking. Because of her addiction to alcohol, it was difficult for her to find a path to a successful career. Alcohol is one of the many causes of damaged futures. Meredith was the worst case scenario, and she dug a hole that was impossible to climb out of. She lost all her friends and close family members. She has no one to turn to for help. That's if she wanted it. Since Meredith has chosen the path of alcoholism, she was kicked out of college and is now unable to find a job, leaving her to live off the street begging for money. With nowhere to go, she is left helpless and deserted. Meredith's life was wasted away all because of alcohol. Teens should not begin to drink alcohol. Meredith isn't the only one in this story, however. There are many others just like her, like kids following in their alcoholic parents' footsteps, according to Alcohol Mastery. This can happen to anyone, and as you have heard, it affects your entire life and the people in it. The effects of peer pressure, the inevitable health risks, and the jeopardization of their future all play a major role in teenagers' lives when they cross paths with alcohol. Meredith should have just said no. She could have had a wonderful and successful life. Alcohol took advantage of her, and there was no going back.